is Tia Cristy, and we're doing the Journey to TEDx. This is a huge conference that we are having in April 29th in Wilmington, Delaware. And one of the most exciting speakers to me, anyway, is on the line with me today, and it is Mr. Ira Bowman. How are you?
I'm sleepy, Tia. It's early out here in California,
Thank
7:46.
you.
Just in full disclosure. So if
Thank
I'm
you so
sipping coffee, I
much.
apologize.
I know it's early for you, and I really appreciate you taking time to do this. I think that this segment's really cool because we are giving kind of like a peek behind the curtain to people,
Yeah,
showing what happens like on that journey to the red circle. And, it's an exciting place. It's a very just wonderful experience. And, a lot of people are like, this was on my career bucket list. It was on mine. I know that. And
sure.
you have already done a TEDx. So, this is your second one for you, correct?
Last year I did my first TEDx, which is, look, if it's on your bucket list, I totally encourage you to chase it because it is an excellent feather in your cap, right? But this year I'm a little bit excited because now I might be doing two. I'm pretty sure I'm doing two this year. So
It's pretty cool to be a TEDx alum. And one thing, that you said it's a locally, the X makes it a local community kind of thing. But
yeah,
it doesn't mean that it just has to be local community because,
right.
as we know, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
You're
Like
definitely in the wrong room. Yeah.
so we love having these new ideas we're spreading coming in, and it's incredible because I was just notified that um TEDx Wilmington is one of the top 5 TEDx's in like the world.
Right.
So that it's wonderful to be recognized like that.
People ask me why. Why did you go to TEDx Wilmington of all places? First of all, most people don't know where Wilmington is, and no offense to Delaware, but I mean, when I say Philadelphia, everybody goes, "Oh, okay, Philadelphia," right? They don't have the same visceral response when I say Wilmington. But I told people, I said, "Look, when I was invited, I looked it up, and on YouTube specifically, they get more plays than I think any other TEDx that I'm aware of. They get the most," and I'm like, I'm in the digital media space. For me, YouTube is a huge part of what we do. So it just made sense for me to, if I was going to do just one, that was the place I wanted to do it for sure.
Absolutely. Yes. Well, thank you. Thank you for coming back. We love
Yeah.
having you speak. And what are you going to be talking about this year? Are you're a digital media guy? So is it going to
Yeah.
be in that realm?
So last year I did it on, it was kind of my story about how I went from laid off to a 6-figure earner in 12 months. Right. But through that, I also was talking about the power of LinkedIn because LinkedIn is how I advertised and was made available for hire by the companies who have hired me, my clients. This year, I'm doing the other end of the digital spectrum, which is SEO, search engine optimization. So last year, social media, this year, SEO.
I'm so excited about that. I am.
Yeah.
Tips from Tia always is interested in the best SEO, and you are so eye-opening with everything that you bring to the table because even when we first met, I thought that I was using LinkedIn like my Rolodex,
Mm-hmm.
and I learned that there is so much more about LinkedIn than I ever gave it credit for. And maybe I'm late to the party, but Ira got me on track to know what it's all about now.
Well, when you join LinkedIn and when I joined LinkedIn, when most people joined LinkedIn prior to 2017, prior to Microsoft owning LinkedIn, that is what most people were using it for, Rolodex. Now it might shock you and your whole audience to learn that the number one demographic on LinkedIn are millennials, 25 to 34 years old. Guess what? They don't even know what a Rolodex is. It's not what it was. So if you're still using it like a Rolodex, you should probably reach out to watch my YouTube channel, watch some videos for free, get a free education.
Yeah, I'll definitely make sure that we attach the link to get to see all the insights that you have because it's brilliant, brilliant concept.
Actually,
And
I'll tell you where you can get it in bite size. My TikTok. I put out like 13 2 to 3 minute videos on how to use LinkedIn on TikTok. I was trying to build my TikTok following.
Well,
Didn't work. It didn't
your
work,
social
but
media anyway, you know,
there you
like
go.
I look at your numbers and I'm like, kudos to you. And it's not even like for you, it's not even about like that number growth. You're
Right.
like, I just want to share this information with as many
Impact.
people as I can.
Yeah, I want to make
And
an impact.
yeah, and that impact is so important. And you're doing it. You're doing it, my friend.
Thank you.
So I guess with the talk, as you talking about SEO, who's your target? Like who are you hoping to impact with this?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always speaking to the person with the side hustle, the person who's bootstrapping, the person who's got a small family business, even medium-sized business owners. Look, if it's not that my advice wouldn't help on enterprise type businesses, larger corporations, it certainly will. But the fact is, they usually have a team of people who know what I know and do what I do, and there's more than one of them, right? So I don't necessarily speak life into them because it's an audience who isn't listening. But for my audience and just my personal background, I come from small business owners, right? My dad ran a landscape business. My mom ran a tack and saddle business. They were both, struggling, bootstrapping, entrepreneur type people, small business owners, really. But so I've always, growing up, just kind of I resonate with those folks, right? They resonate with me. So the audience that I'm trying to reach is always the person who's like got a struggling small business. And it is the backbone of America, as everybody pretty much knows. That's where most of the jobs come from. So I help the small business owner, the person who aspires to be, the small business owner, or the person who is a small business owner who'd like to be a medium-sized business owner. And that's who I'm reaching for.
Right. And I was going to ask you, why is it important to you? But as you talk about your folks, it's quite clear why, this is important to you to really help the small business owner. Because I know personally, and seeing it with others as a business owner, entrepreneur, it's such a struggle, like being an island, because we all have to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And it's overwhelming. Like you said, these corporations, they have teams of people, especially when you think about social media. There's a ton that goes into it. SEO,
Right.
there's a ton that goes into it. And I love that you're giving these, nooks and crannies basically
Well,
to
if
everyone.
someone says they're a social media manager,
Mhm.
you still have no idea what they actually do. Like, you have to dig in and figure out, okay, well, what does that mean? Are you creating content for somebody? Are you looking at analytics? Because I'll tell you that the analytics are so critical. Most people don't even think about it. Like, I put up a post the other day about, social media. If you're on whatever platform you're on, why are you there? Are you there because that's your favorite platform? Or are you there because that's where your audience is? Like, a business owner should be thinking about it from the standpoint of a producer, not a consumer. So,
Right.
being an island is dangerous, to your point.
Yes.
And
Yes. And
I'm one of the first people that someone can come to help start creating that, get off that island, to start connecting like bridges to groups, because I'll increase your visibility on whatever platform you need to be on.
right. And just a little personal note, like you said to me the one time, because, I had a large following and then it started to dwindle down because, I stopped being consistent, and consistency is key. We know that.
Top of mind. It's a
Um,
top of mind sport.
Absolutely. And you were like, all right, instead of focusing on all four of them right now, take one and work on that. And then by the time you really get that train back on the track, you're going to have material for everything else. And
Yep.
so I love how strategic you are, and you share that with your following. So yeah, I definitely want to
Wait till
make
you
sure.
hear, yeah, wait till you hear the TEDx talk, the SEO talk, because it's a lot of that too. Now we start, instead of on social media, we start on the website, and then we pull it down for social media. So long form content for any of those who are listening is something, it's a video, it's a blog. You have all this material. Now you can parse it up and use that. We call it content curation, and you can use that for all your socials, really.
Yes. Yes.
Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn all have pretty much the same demographic now. It's
That's
millennials.
incredible.
It's
It's
millennials.
incredible.
Yeah,
And you're the guy that keeps up with it all. It's hard to keep up with it all, but
that's my job.
um,
Yeah.
That's why people got to follow you. So they get
Yeah,
the
if you
insights.
like data, if you want like evidence-based stuff, like I just don't tell you my opinions. Sometimes I do, and I'll clarify, like, hey, I can't be dogmatic about this. This is just my opinion. Like, for example, why I use YouTube over Vimeo is because the same company owns Google, owns YouTube, and even though I can't prove it, I have to believe that the algorithm in Google promotes the YouTube videos over the Vimeo videos. I don't know that for a fact, but that's my hypothesis, and I have not seen anything to contradict it so far.
I don't think you're wrong in that. I kind of share that same opinion with you. So, um, how are you preparing for this one? I mean,
Well, this is what I
especially
do. This is what I do day in and day out. So this is actually, I'll tell you the hardest part. I've made slides. I've got 10 slides. I'll give away some of the secret sauce here. I've got 10 slides in PowerPoint. The hard thing for me is parsing it down, because
okay.
one of the things I learned last year was 18 minutes is not very much time. The main thing, like lesson learned last year, was I really had two talk tracks. I had the story about, getting laid off and building up Bowman Digital Media, and then the education on LinkedIn. These are some tips. I ran out of time for the tips because I didn't anticipate the crowd response or the emotion that I was going to have sharing it publicly. So what I'm telling you is I'm basically trying to bake this thing down to 15 minutes to give myself that padding, so that when I go a little bit longer, as you can tell, I like to talk, um, then I don't hit that magic 18-minute, because there's a time limit of 18 minutes. So there's that.
That's
So
fantastic. Yeah.
I mean, the data is something I deal with every single day. I'm doing a prep. I've got in March this event, and I believe you're going to be there too, called She Talks in
Yes.
Houston, and I'm doing a 40-minute breakout session. And so I'm using the same material basically for both. It's just in the breakout session, I'll be able to expand and take questions. Where obviously with the TED Talk, it is a standalone, no questions asked. So,
Right.
that's
Yes.
how, that's how I'm
I'm
prepared.
doing more of like the TED style for She Talks. So I'll be up there doing my
Yeah,
thing. I'm working on that now.
I'm not doing a speech. I'm doing a breakout. So it's going to be a little bit interactive. Like, I'm going to be asking them if they own a website, and, things like that I
I
won't be
love
able to
that.
do during the TED Talk.
Hopefully we're not scheduled at the same time because I want to come to your breakout. I love that.
Yeah, that would be great. I'm looking forward to it. It was funny when I got invited to do the She Talks breakout session, because I'm like, but I'm not a girl. But I'm a professional photographer, as you know. So I'm there at the event because I'm going to be shooting the event, the photographs for the event. But then they asked me, because they know I'm an SEO guy, like, hey, would you mind? Our participants would need this, and I'm like, yeah, I don't mind at all. So
Impact, impact, impact. I
yeah,
love that. All
that's the
right.
shot.
So, I guess we'll say, speaking of impact, what impact are you hoping? Because people know it's local with TEDx, but
Right.
then it goes out onto YouTube all over the world.
Yeah.
What impact do you want it to have on the world?
Well, and it goes to my media kit. So
That's true.
people who come to my website are going to see it, as well. The impact that I want is really simple. There's a thing, and this is technical, so I don't mean to speak over anybody's head, but it's called SERP. SERP is an acronym. It stands for Search Engine Results Position. Some people call it place, or um, place. Anyways, there's a couple different things you could use for the P, but I call it position. Okay. But here's the deal. If you don't understand how powerful Google is, it's really simple. 70% roughly of all website traffic runs through Google. 92 to 94%, depending on if you're on a desktop or mobile, search traffic goes through Google. With that volume being said, if you are not on first page, now you can't be on first page for everything, but when your demographic, the people that you're trying to reach, go into Google and type in a question, you need to be on the first page of those results if it's something that is especially your specialty. Like, right, for me, how to increase your visibility online. If you type in that question, I want to be on the first page for that. That's what I want to be on Google for. My hope, the impact is people will understand how important that is, and they'll get a few tips and techniques that they can apply to move towards that. You probably won't get to first place just by watching my speech and implementing the tips, because you're not a professional at it, and it depends a little bit on your competition rate. But I can certainly help move you forward much faster, and that's going to be the impact that I'm hoping for. And then, of course, if people understand the need for this now, maybe they'll consider hiring somebody, because SEO is not something that most of you are going to be able to master on your own. It's just not. It's too dynamic. There's way too many variables. Like in Google's algorithm alone, there's over 200 variables. Okay. So for you to go, oh, I'm just going to figure this thing out on my own and do this, well, you're probably not, because you're an expert at something else. But if I can get you to understand that you need to pay attention to this with the volume, the traffic that I just said, it is the number 1 super highway of traffic of any type. There isn't a freeway in the world that's busier than Google. Right?
That's true. That's
just some math. 81,000 searches every single second on average in 2022. That's 7 billion searches per day. That's 210 billion searches per month. If you're not paying attention to SEO, you are missing the biggest pathway of traffic online. And that can break you. Right? It's better than buying a billboard on the side of any road. It's better than wrapping your vehicle, anything you can think of. I'm going to send out 100,000 emails a month. Email traffic is the 3rd highest source of internet traffic, but it pales in comparison to social media. And social media, it would take you 58 years to get to generate the traffic from LinkedIn only that Google gets every month. 58 years is the same as 1 month right now. Now, some reports have it as little as 10 to 1, but even if it was 10 to 1, 10 times more effective for Google than social media, then that means you should be putting 10 times more effort in Google than you are into social media. And I'm telling you that 10 to 1 number is probably not realistic, because there's 4.5 billion active users per month on all of social media. There's only 300 million active users per month on LinkedIn, and 70 to 75% of those people aren't even in the United States. So if you're a small business owner and you're saying, I'm putting all my eggs into the LinkedIn basket, well, what is 25% of 300 million? It's not nearly as much as 81,000 per second.
Wow.
You see what I mean? So
yeah,
I try to get people to think like that, not emotional based, right? Emotional intelligence is important, but not in SEO. In SEO, you need somebody who's analytical brain. Go, let the data determine where I am and what activities I'm doing, where I invest my time and money for ROI. Business owners shouldn't have to be, I shouldn't have to explain that to business owners, but I do a lot every day, in fact, because they don't get it. So my impact, the goal that I'm hoping to achieve, is to educate people on their need for SEO.
Right. And I think that's what it is. Your clients, they don't need to know the numbers. You know the numbers, which
they just need to know that they need it.
The importance of it.
Yeah.
Yes, I love that.
And I tell people all the time, like, look, if you're struggling with sales, now is not the time to back off SEO. In fact, it's the opposite. This is the time to double down.
Right.
Now, not all SEO is equal. Some people don't get it. Like, I talk to people who are even in my field, and they say things that it's just not true. And I don't want to call them a liar, because I don't think that they're purposely misleading people. I think they just don't understand. They haven't been educated as much as I have. And by no means am I the world's foremost expert at this, right? There's people who know way more than me too. And some of the stuff I say, they probably hear it and wince too. But my job is to understand it as much as possible and then educate people, not on all the, you know what I mean, the minutia, just on the big picture, like, hey, this is why it's so important. So my presentation, just so you know, has a lot of stats in it. And I've set up the slides with the stats so people can screen capture and take it with them.
That's awesome. Yes. All right. So I'm going to definitely put the link down for tickets as well in the comment section, because this is something that people don't want to miss. They don't want to miss. Ira, you got so much good information. I mean, just
again, if they
in the conversations that we've had, I mean, we're friends, but in the conversations that we've had talking about it, I've learned so much. So the fact that you're like telling a talk to specifically share this information, I love it.
I've never given this information this concentrated. This is going to if I can keep people from their eyes glazing over, this is one of those, like, it's just straight Iris to come. I'm coming out swinging. There's no cute anecdotes in this. There's no personal stories. I mean, this is straight. SEO is important. It can change your whole business future. If you're struggling to get traffic and you listen to what I say and you implement what I say, you won't struggle for traffic. I had a
That's
guy,
fantastic.
he does such an obscure thing. He helps people with taxes. He's an accountant, but helps people with taxes only in Texas and only in regards to retail transactions. So he's only working with businesses, right? Retail businesses, right?
Mhm.
He was on page 7 of Google, not getting any, website traffic. We got him to page 1, the first position. SERP,
Mm.
page 1, position 1. Position, place,
Wow.
page. Those are the 3 P's. It just came back to me. Position, place, or page. So we got him to page 1, position 1. We did it in 3 months for $1,500. He spent
Wow.
$1,500 and went from obscurity to the very first position. And he wrote me a wonderful review, and we put it on our website because he was like, "Man, I thought this stuff was phooey."
Not phooey. Not at all.
It changed his whole business.
It changes everything. It not only does it change your clout and the fact that you are trusted. A lot of people know if you're up higher on Google, people are going to trust it more. You
Let me
still
tell
got
you
to
how
do
much.
your research, but
Let me tell you how much. The first position, page 1, position 1. I already told you 81,000 people per second, right? 32% of those 81,000 people will click on the first position only.
true.
So just do the math on that. 32. Sorry, hang on.
He's doing more math for us.
I'm just going to do it real quick because, yeah, it's important, right? So 81,000 times 0.32, that's 25,000. It's 26,000 basically. Okay. So 26,000 people every second are clicking just on that first spot.
Wow.
Now, let me tell you something else. This is why SEO is so important. 75% of the people, of those 81,000 people every second, will never go to page 2. They will only go to page 1. And if they don't find what they want on page 1, they'll do a new search. They will not go to page 2 or 3 or 4 or 6 or 5. You know what I mean? Like if you're
Right.
on any page but page 1 for what you need to be on, it's like you don't exist.
Right.
Only 9% of people will actually go to page 2 and click on something. Less than 1% will make it to page 3. And it's under 1% for page 4. And, you're basically obscure at that point, right?
That is it's hard to hear, but it's the truth. It is absolutely the truth.
Well,
Because I
you want to hear
know if
something
it's
else?
not coming up first, I'm typing in something else. I'm like,
40,
wait, let's narrow this down.
40% plus of all internet traffic only comes from organic search on Google. So people go to Google, they put in a search, and they only click on 1 through 10, right? That's where 40% of all website traffic is coming from. People say, what about ads? Good question. Ads generates about 28% of all internet traffic. The ads on Google specifically.
Right.
If you just do that 40% plus 28%, now you know we're at 68%. Now, different data sources, just different stat houses put out different statistics, but they're all in that general line.
Oh, Ira. All right, I got one final question before I let you go. Like seriously, I know you got a busy day ahead of you and this is like super early for you. But this is not going to be your first time coming into Wilmington, Delaware. We have had times like where we've gotten to hang out, which has been awesome. So, what are you looking forward to on this trip to Wilmington?
One of the things that was unexpected about the TEDx journey last time, I didn't think about the other speakers so much going into the journey. It was, it was me. It was like you say, it's this bucket list item, and I'm putting a feather in my cap, and I hope that I deliver a good speech and the impact that the video would have throughout, and all that came to fruition. That was cool. But the unexpected impact that I had when I came to Wilmington, first of all, it is, it's probably the smallest big town that I've ever been in, right? Like it's downtown, but it's more community. It's got a community feel to it that isn't, urban. It's more suburban urban, if that makes sense, right? So what I'm really looking forward to this time is embracing that relationship and that interaction that can be built over just, a couple days with some of the other speakers, because honestly, that's where we met. We met, I think at the after party, if I remember
Yes.
right. Right. I
Yep.
mean, I saw you on stage. I took some pictures of you, obviously, because I was taking photos. Again, I'm a photographer, so it's one of the things I do.
Yeah, he's not a creeper. He
So
was there to do that.
yeah, so I took photos and we met and it was cool. But I didn't understand the friendships that were going to be made, and some of my really close friends now a year later, right? Like they're some of my inner circle. So I'm looking forward to that. Wilmington to me, it's a place where you can make friends, and there's plenty of places to eat and hang out, and that socializing, that relationship building. That's the answer.
Yeah, it's definitely a fun town, with good food and everybody's like, well, what do you do when you get into Wilmington? You just experience it. Like that's the best way to describe it. You're not going to Philadelphia where you get to see, the Liberty Bell and like all that kind of
Right.
stuff. I mean, sure, there's like cool little things that Delaware has, but it's just experiencing Wilmington as a whole. And you're right, these relationships are lifetime relationships that you can build through the TEDx community. It's amazing. It really is incredible.
Yeah.
So
I mean, life changing for me. Friendships that people I would have never met any other place, and now they're some of my best friends. That's
I
that's
love
pretty
it.
cool. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yes. Well, thank you. I am going to let people know how to get a hold of you through links, because I think that you are definitely a person that a lot of people are going to be very interested in hearing and communicating with on how to, you know,
Yeah.
get better
Well, the
at this
media, the
SEO and LinkedIn and all that.
my media kit has the links to everywhere else. So if you share the media kit that has the TEDx talk from last year, if they want to kind of get a
Mhm.
feel for what I'm going to say. Although I'll tell you that the style is going to be a little bit different this year, because again, it's going to be more technical and they don't have the anecdotes. But that was one of my lessons learned, again, was that I don't have time for all that cute stuff.
We'll give them the link, and then go ahead, say the link, and then I'll put it down below.
Oh, so it's at Bowman Digital Media. If you go to Bowman Digital Media, and it's been behind me the whole time, the name, if I'm mumbling, but then go on the tab up at the top, just go over halfway through the tab is the media kit. Click on that, and then it has
Everything.
a bunch of stuff about me, right? You can see some of my photos, you can see my TEDx talk, you can see my new book that came out. We were talking about this in the green room. Um, you can learn more about what I offer, and you can even book a consultation with me if you want. You can learn more about Bowman Digital Media. It's all right there. So
I love it. Thank you. And yes, congratulations on your new book. It's
thank you.
incredible. So I
I
cannot wait to
searched
see you.
my name on Amazon. I couldn't believe, like, it's so exciting to me. I
Yeah.
don't know why I geek out. I'm an SEO guy who I was geeked out by being a search result in the search engine of Amazon. I just thought that was
No,
cool.
it's cool. It is cool, especially all the hard work that goes into, creating that. And it is.
This
It's a cool feeling.
This book was on business leadership and diversity, which is a hot topic and something that with my philanthropy, we didn't get into, but my Project Help You Grow philanthropy is all about helping people find jobs. And so this is a topic that I was really passionate about. So I wrote a chapter in the book, and I was really excited to be a part of it.
Yeah. Well, that is so wonderful. Thank you. And we can put a link in for that too if you'd like. Again, TEDx Wilmington happening April 29th. You can see Ira Bowman on stage at the Red Circle. It's so exciting. Yes, it stays exciting no matter how many times you do it. It really does. Every time
Yeah.
you get to, an idea worth spreading, it really is so important, and all the excitement and the jitters. So I think you definitely encourage people for SEO and also to try to do this journey themselves if they have an
They should.
idea worth spreading.
100%. I would do nothing but encourage people to, if that's something you're interested in, pursue it. It's worth it.
Absolutely. Well, Ira, thank you again so much for being here today. And you can still get tickets. I'll have all the links below. And Ira, I can't wait to see you April 29th.
Thank you, my friend.